the PJI, Pacific Justice Institute. So we are a law firm that specializes in First Amendment litigation and parental rights issues. So we help folks that are having issues with free speech, religious liberty, and parental rights issues, primarily in schools, but across the board. And yeah, we litigate, we advise on any of those issues.
Now you had, and hopefully you had some interesting local cases that popped up in the North Idaho area. Can you give the folks just a little bit of brief background of where you are with those cases?
Sure. So we're in ongoing litigation in a couple of cases in North Idaho. Again, a lot of people may be familiar with these cases, but a high school student said on campus that guys are guys, girls are girls, there's nothing in between, and was pretty heavily punished for that by the school district. Subsequently, in a school district employee, same school district, who attended a peaceful protest on behalf of that student was fired from his position with the school district. So those are both separate and ongoing cases that we have in litigation right now. And beyond that, I can't publicly update very much on that, but hopefully we'll get some news on those cases soon that can be shared.
Yeah, understood. I remember that day that the school bus driver was summarily fired. It was shocking to everybody on site that day. We were both there that day, and it was it was quite extraordinary. And to think that it happens up in this area, and especially in that small community out there in the Silver Valley. Well, I wish you best of luck to your clients and you guys on those cases. You also had mentioned that you're working on some legislation for Idaho for this year on free speech. What can we expect?
Yeah, a couple of things. I know you've discussed the Traditional Family Values Month resolution that Senator Taves is heading up, and really, I'd like to say that, from our end, Traditional Family Values Month really is a response to what we are seeing in our cases and the requests for legal help that we're getting. And there are a lot of people who are really being silenced and in some cases punished for openly expressing their positive view of the traditional family, traditional marriage, a traditional way of raising children. And so this resolution really gives those people a better platform, right? First Amendment free speech is all about viewpoint discrimination. The government cannot discriminate based on viewpoint. If they're allowing one viewpoint on an issue, they have to allow the other viewpoint. And we are seeing a lot of problems there related to people who are supportive of the traditional family and that believe it is the best way for people to live, to raise children, for our communities and our society. And so really this resolution, our angle on it is that it's a response to what we are seeing in the legal arena. Obviously, like in worst case scenario where we've had to file lawsuits because people have been silenced regarding the idea of the traditional family. So I know you've discussed this already. I appreciate anyone's support on that. We're really grateful to Senator Taves for heading that up. And we are also looking to help in presenting a bill that would allow for a private civil action under a couple of the Idaho Constitution's provisions. So one is the free speech clause of our Idaho Constitution.
Now, real quick, when you say civil action, are you talking about like people can bring civil cases if their speech is violated by the government or by other folks? Like what set us up, define that a little bit for me real quick.
Correct. So from a constitutional standpoint, whether it's U.S. Constitution or state constitution, it has to be violated by the government. So private entities wouldn't fall under that category. So in Idaho, the Idaho Constitution has a couple of provisions that we are going to target that would allow individuals a right to sue for damages if a government entity within the state of Idaho violates their free speech rights or their religious liberty rights. So those are the two sections of Idaho's constitution we're going to target and just allow people to have a remedy for having those freedoms that our Idaho Constitution clearly says that we have. It would allow a remedy for individuals if that has been violated for them.
And what that seems to be a big sticking point when it comes to these bills in Idaho is that they want to say don't do this thing, don't violate a law, but we don't want to punish anybody for it. We don't want to hold anybody accountable. That seems to be an ongoing theme. That was a big problem with the House Bill 314 last year about the libraries and holding librarians and library workers accountable. They didn't like that there was any civil penalties or anything like that was in there. Do you expect to see some pushback on this?
Of course, I do expect some pushback. I do think, it needs to be reiterated that obviously we also have those exact same rights under the U.S. Constitution, and a way to hold government entities accountable from a federal law standpoint. So this would just be the state of Idaho saying, you know what, we want to reinforce that the citizens in our state have a right to free speech, no matter what their viewpoint is. They have a right to religious liberty and religious freedom, and that we want to guarantee that in our state and have some teeth, prove that is actually a foundational issue in our state, as it is, I believe, given by the U.S. Constitution, of course. So I think it's a way for the state to say, we cherish all views, again, as a First Amendment attorney, all viewpoints should be allowed. And it doesn't matter if it offends somebody, we don't have a right to not be offended. We need open debate, we need open discussion, and we need, religious freedom as well.
Absolutely. Well, Kate, thank you so much for coming on. I want to make sure people know how to get in touch with PJI if they have if they feel that their rights are being violated somehow, their religious liberties at stake. What is the best way to get in touch with your organization and with you, and how can we follow along with your work?
Yeah, our website is pji.org. So you are welcome to go there. You can, if you have a potential legal matter, you can submit a request for legal assistance there. And certainly in the state of Idaho, they would get a hold of me, and I will be happy to contact anybody.
Fantastic. All right. Well, I look forward to having you back. You've been a great guest. I thank you so much.
Thanks, Matt. I appreciate it.